She tunes the violin, The Life of Martha Jefferson, by Lisa Dellagiarino Feriend.
Act 1, Scene 1. Martha, dressed as a bride, stands in the study of her father's house, the forest. Martha faces the audience as if looking in a mirror. She smooths out her dress as her mother, Martha Epps-Wales, enters.
Look at what a beautiful bride my daughter makes.
Do you like the dress?
I do, and the groom. William and Mary produces the best young men in Virginia.
Did I tell you how many books he owns?
It's a perfect match.
Patty, dear, it's time. Don't you look lovely? Just like your mother on our wedding day. I wish she were here for this.
So do I.
Well, everyone's waiting. Let's go make you Mrs. Bathurst Skelton.
I now pronounce you man and wife.
Scene 2. Martha paces her father's study in a nightgown. She holds a baby she is desperately trying to calm.
It's all right, Jack. Shh. Please go to sleep.
Sounds like you need some help.
He won't stop crying. Betty, I've tried everything, but I'm so tired.
Hand him over.
How did you do that?
I've had a lot of children.
Will I learn to do that?
Have you killed my grandson? He was screaming for so long that the silence feels foreboding.
Betty got him to stop.
Betty worked her magic.
I'm sorry he woke up the entire house.
He's got a good set of lungs. He'll go far in this world. Good night, Patty.
Good night.
I'm back to bed.
Wales gives Betty a squeeze and exits.
Taxes on things which must be imported from Britain, all levied on us without our own representation in Parliament.
Yes,
Yes, that's
absolutely.
right.
At least Charles Townshend had the good sense to die after coming up with these offensive acts.
Indeed.
Now, if only King George would do the same.
Hear, hear.
Please.
Aside.
Scene 3. Wales talks with Thomas Jefferson in his study. Jefferson's enslaved personal valet, Jupiter, stands off to the side.
Yes, this all seems quite agreeable to me.
Wonderful. Then sign at the bottom. I look forward to representing you.
I look forward to being represented.
Jack? I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were using the study.
Oh, not to worry. We're just finishing up. My daughter, Martha, visiting us here at the forest for a bit. Patty, this is my new lawyer, Thomas Jefferson.
Why do you need a lawyer?
Every gentleman needs a lawyer. Her husband's a William and Mary man as well.
I'm sure your lawyer's not interested. Is Jack in here?
I haven't seen him.
I need to find him before he kills himself.
If my house is so unsafe, go back to Elk Hill.
I will as soon as they finish the renovations. Why does my father need your legal services?
Say nothing.
You are impossible.
Wait. Let me give your son a shilling. He'll be at William and Mary in no time.
That's not necessary.
No. I insist. Jupiter, do you have a shilling?
It's really not.
Patty, if a lawyer wants to give you some money, take it.
There you are.
All right. Thank you, both.
Well, I should be off to my next client.
Very well. Betty, would you show Mr. Jefferson out?
Yes. Also, a messenger just delivered this. He said it was urgent.
Thank you. Safe travels.
Thank you, Miss Wales.
You will never guess where I found Jack. What's wrong?
Sweetheart, there's been an accident.
And so, today we commit the body of Bathurst Skelton back into the earth from which he came. But his spirit will live on in the lives of those he touched, especially his young widow Martha and his infant son John.
Scene 4. Martha sits in a chair in her father's study. Martha Epps Wales enters and sits beside her.
It's not fair.
I know.
Jack's not going to remember his father.
You'll remember for him.
It's not the same. A boy needs a father.
A boy needs love, and you can give him plenty.
May I join you?
At least you have Jack to remember him by. When my first husband died, I was childless. I lost him completely. You've got to cling to your silver linings.
It was a beautiful service. Excellent turnout. Very well respected for such a young man. Your mother. I knew your mother was dying. It had been a difficult birth, and we all knew that she was dying. I remember pacing the front porch, pleading with God. If one of us is going to die and one of us is going to raise this baby alone, please let me be the dead one. And I wasn't praying for it out of great love for your mother, although I did have great love for your mother. I was praying for it because it would be easier. It's hard to be the one who has to go on living. But the one who has to go on living gets to watch their child grow up. That makes it worth it. I've buried 3 wives and 1 daughter. I know a little something about being forced to carry on. And if you need help or advice or whiskey, just let me know.
All right.
You and Jack are welcome to live here at the forest. I can arrange to have Elk Hill sold.
I don't want to sell Elk Hill.
All right.
Elk Hill will be Jack's house one day.
Of course.
Do you think Jack needs a father?
All boys need a father. But you don't have to remarry if you don't want to. You have property, and you're set to inherit more from me. But don't rule it out. A boy does need a father. Well, get some sleep, Patty. Try to, anyway.
Your baby needs you.
I just need a minute.
Mothers don't get time off for bereavement.
Does Jack need a father?
Only if you want a husband.
I don't. But will he turn out all right without one?
None of my sons have a father, and they turning out just fine. Go. Your baby needs you.
The House of Burgesses has voted to oppose taxation without representation.
Only the Virginia governor and legislature have the power to tax Virginians.
The governor has dissolved the House of Burgesses.
Scene 5. Martha and Wales arrive at the governor's royal ball in Williamsburg.
I love a royal ball. This is just like old times when he used to accompany me after Elizabeth died. Everyone seems to be out in the garden, shall we?
I'm going to get some wine first. I'll meet you out there.
Don't be long, or I might find myself a fourth wife.
Can you believe it, Jupiter?
I can.
How?
He made a motion to emancipate Virginia's slaves. Of course, they called him an enemy of his country.
After all he's done for this colony?
Yes.
I can't believe it. Oh, Mrs. Skelton.
Yes, I'm sorry. I don't...
Thomas Jefferson, your father's lawyer.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, you're the one who helped Samuel Howe.
I'm the one who tried to.
Representing a slave in court is not nothing.
Might as well have been, for all the good it did him. After the trial, I gave him 10 pounds and some advice, and that's the only way I really helped.
What was the advice?
To run away.
It seems he took your suggestion to heart.
It does.
The paper printed your argument. You're very good with words. Are you a writer as well as a lawyer?
I suppose. What brings you to Williamsburg?
Oh, my father asked me to accompany him to the royal ball, and I never miss an opportunity to go to a ball and pretend I'm in Paris.
Oh, no.
Do you like Paris, Mrs. Skelton? I want to see Paris desperately.
I love Paris. Have you also come to Williamsburg to pretend you're there?
No, turning this town into Paris is beyond the capabilities of my imagination. I was recently elected to the House of Burgesses, before it was disbanded.
Were you? A lawyer, a writer, and a politician. You know what they say about a jack of all trades.
Jupiter? He's too comfortable with me. That's what happens when you grow up together, I suppose.
Patty, you're missing all the fun. And I need you to keep me from saying things I shouldn't to people who deserve it. Ah, Mr. Jefferson, when will you be back in Charles City County? I have some legal matters.
What legal matters?
Never you mind.
I'll stop by as soon as I'm in town.
Excellent. I was sorry to hear about your mother's house.
Thank you.
At least no one was killed in the fire. And you're building a house of your own now, I hear.
Yes.
Which contractor?
Well, I'm designing it myself.
A lawyer, a writer, a politician, and an architect.
Careful there. A man shouldn't be too many things. Come, Patty. I need you to outdo Joshua Morris's wife on the harpsichord. Everyone's falling all over her like she's Bach, but she's not half so good as you.
Stop.
I play the violin. Perhaps we should duet sometime.
Is there anything you don't do?
I'm not very good at saving money.
Ah, human after all.
Come, I want to see the look on Morris's face when you outplay his wife.
Goodbye, Mr. Johnson.
It's Jefferson. She's single, you know.
You think you're the only man in Virginia with your sights on that wealthy widow?
Are you saying you don't think I have a chance?
Yes.
Maybe not. But I like her. Haven't you ever met a woman that you just couldn't help but like?
I try not to.
Why? You know that if you got married, I would keep you and your wife together.
Until something happens to you.
Oh, nothing's going to happen to me.
You don't know that.
Well, what do you want me to say? We live in the world we live in, and I can only do so much.
You gave Samuel Howell 10 pounds and told him to run.
Yes, but he wasn't mine.
There it is.
I need you, Jupiter.
All I'm saying is Mrs. Skelton is right. You're very good with words.
Excuse me, I went to Richard Bland in the House of Burgesses and proposed that we try to emancipate the slaves.
Yes, I remember. He was called an enemy of his country, and you just can't believe it.
It's not just words. I'm trying to take action.
With other people's slaves.
You're not very fun tonight. I'm going outside.
Murder in Boston. British troops fired into a crowd, massacring 5 people.
The Townshend Acts have been repealed. All duties on imports into the colonies, with the exception of tea, are eliminated.
Scene 6. Martha reads in John Wales' study.
Sorry to bother you. Mr. Jefferson is here to see you.
That's impossible. Peter Jefferson has been dead for years.
Yes, but his son is alive and in the next room.
His son?
Mr. Thomas Jefferson, your father's lawyer. He says you've met several times.
Oh, yes, Thomas Jefferson. The jack of all trades who represented Samuel Howell and likes Paris. Why is he here?
He wants to play music with you.
My father's lawyer wants to play music with me.
He brought a violin.
That's strange. Get rid of him. Tell him I'm not in.
He can hear you through the wall.
Oh. Well, of course. I'd be delighted to play music with Mr. Jefferson. Wait a suitable period of time, then come and get me. Make up some emergency.
He can hear you through the wall.
Scene 7. A while later, still in Wales' study.
Well, how did it go?
Actually, it was lovely.
I knew it. He was here long enough. I knew that was a good sign. His mother is a Randolph, you know, and his father was very well respected.
I know.
So, what did he say?
Nothing.
Nothing. He was here for 3 hours.
He said hello when I walked in. He said thank you when we finished. He asked if he could call again when he left.
He said 3 sentences in 3 hours.
Not everyone is as outgoing as my father.
But everyone needs to try. How disappointing. Lawyers are supposed to be verbose.
Well, he's not just a lawyer. He's also a writer and a politician and an architect. Oh, and he's...
A man shouldn't be too many things. I'm sorry your afternoon was wasted.
It wasn't. I told him I would love for him to come again.
You want to spend more time with a silent man.
He wasn't silent. He was playing a violin.
But he wasn't talking. You can't get to know a person if they're not talking.
Oh, I disagree.
I don't understand you sometimes.
Scene 8. Betty, very pregnant, is dusting John Wales' study.
Betty, where did you put my dark green coat?
Same place I put all your other coats.
No, it's not there.
It is.
Can you look for it?
I'm trying to finish dusting your study before this baby falls out of my body.
And I appreciate that, but I want to wear the green coat tonight.
It's hanging with all your other coats.
I can't find it.
She turns and begins slowly walking off to find the coat.
That's the spirit. Oh, before you get my coat, can you get the door?
Betty reverses course and exits towards the front door. She re-enters with Thomas Jefferson. Jupiter follows behind, carrying a bird cage with a pair of mockingbirds.
Mr. Jefferson, why do you have birds?
They're a gift for your daughter.
Patty, go get Patty.
No. First, I need to talk to you.
Is this a marriage proposal?
Yes.
Patty, will you get Patty? And bring her the birds. And don't forget my green coat while you're up there.
Thank you. Here, I've got a... just a moment. Jupiter, do you have a shilling? There you are. Thank you very much. So, do you approve?
It's up to Patty, but yes, I approve. Just watch the politics. We don't need to break with England. Ah, my green coat. Well done, Betty. Where was it?
With all your other coats.
You have a good eye for finding things. Well, I'll leave you two to talk. He wants to marry you.
Couldn't you let him say
that? I'm fine with it, but it's up to you.
I'm sorry. I hope you didn't have a speech prepared.
I didn't. Just the birds.
Thank you for them. Mockingbirds are my favorite.
I know. I remembered. Has anyone else brought you some?
No. No one else has brought animals.
Excellent.
But you're not the only man who wants to marry my money.
Your money is hardly the most attractive thing about you.
Is that so? What then? My property?
Elk Hill. I don't want Elk Hill.
How dare you? Elk Hill is lovely.
I'm sure it is, but I'm building my own house.
On top of a mountain. That's not practical.
Best things in life never are.
So not my money and not my property. What then?
Your temper. I've never seen you lose your temper, even with Jack when he's in one of his moods.
Well, a woman is taught young that she's not allowed to lose her temper.
Nobody told my mother that.
If she lost her temper with you, then I think you deserved it.
How dare you side with my mother?
Still want me?
More so, strangely. I think we'd be a good match.
I've heard that from a lot of men.
Who want your money and your property. I, on the other hand, just want to take you to Paris. And unless we are married, it would be indecent.
I can go to Paris on my own. I don't need you for that.
I find that I enjoy the things I want much more than the things I need.
No wonder you're so bad at saving money. My French isn't as good as yours.
We'll practice before we go.
All right, Mr. Jefferson. Take me to Paris.
Oh, ignore me. I'm just looking for my pipe. Did you say yes?
Do you want me to ignore you, or do you want me to answer your question?
You did say yes, didn't you? When is it going to be?
We haven't.
Let's start planning. Come with me.
Can you give us a moment?
Come with me. Betty, where's my pipe?
Scene 9. Martha is sitting in her father's study, dressed in black as she was when Bathurst died.
Here we are again. The one who has to go on living doesn't get to see their child grow up after all.
Not this time.
A malignant brain fever. What does that even mean? At what age is a child safe?
There's no magic age.
Then why do people have children? When Bathurst died, I couldn't imagine ever feeling worse. But this is worse. And now it's like he never existed at all.
But he did exist. And so did Jack. And they'll live forever in your heart.
broken heart can't hold people.
They live in the cracks.
Am I still a mother?
You don't stop being a mother just because you lose your child.
You stop being a wife when you lose your husband.
But you're a mother forever.
Mr. Jefferson wants to know if he can see you, or if you'd like to be alone.
No, send him in. I'd rather not be alone with my thoughts. Betty, are you still a mother if your child dies?
You don't believe me?
Of course you are.
See?
During the funeral, my father whispered, "Don't worry, Patty. You'll be a mother again."
Men don't understand.
They don't.
Your body made that boy, and it's going to be missing a piece of itself for the rest of your life. You're Jack's mother forever.
Good.
I'll get Mr. Jefferson.
Forever.
I'm sorry, Patty. You'll be a mother again.
We're going to need more ham than that.
Did you pack my violin?
The stitching should hold. I tested it.
I put it with your good soup.
Betty, where's my silk waistcoat?
Hope it doesn't snow. Who gets married in January?
Scene 10, The Study at the Forest. Martha is once again dressed as a bride.
You really do make a beautiful bride.
Well, hopefully, I'm a beautiful bride for the last time.
You will be. You're like me. My first husband died, but my second marriage lasted.
Your second marriage lasted 2 years.
Only because childbirth is dangerous.
Well, they say I'm built like you.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
And that you weren't built for children, so...
You had Jack, no problem.
Here's to the 2 years of happiness as Mrs. Thomas Jefferson.
Don't talk like that. It's your wedding day. Be happy.
I am happy.
Well, you have a strange way of showing it.
Can I talk to you for a minute?
Of course. Oh, did Mr. Jefferson tip you? He said he was going to give you money for your help with the wedding.
Yes, he did.
Did it come from him or did it come from Jupiter?
No, it actually came from him.
My, a New Year's Day wedding really does bring a new start. What do you need?
I just wanted to suggest to you that it might be a good idea to start thinking about a plan for the future.
What?
I'm getting married. I'm moving to Charlottesville. I'm going to fill my home with tiny Jeffersons. I have a plan for the future.
Of course you do. I just mean, you're a wealthy woman. And in a few minutes, all of that wealth is going to transfer to Mr. Jefferson.
What is she doing?
I know how marriage works.
I just want you to have a plan for how you're going to go about getting what you need.
Mr. Jefferson will provide what I need.
But he will decide what that is.
Betty forgets her place sometimes.
Yes, I suppose he will, but...
He'll be making decisions for both of you. And you might not always agree with him.
Isn't there something she should be doing right now, or did your fiance tip her to come in here and criticize him?
Do you not like Mr. Jefferson?
No, he seems perfectly fine.
Because we didn't have a conversation like this when I married Mr. Skelton.
You weren't as wealthy when you married Mr. Skelton. And Mr. Skelton wasn't.
He wasn't what?
Mr. Jefferson is both very smart and very persuasive.
That's what makes him a good lawyer.
Yes, but it means you're going to have to be a lawyer too.
Well-bred Virginian women do not undermine their husbands. Ignore her.
It's something I tell my own daughters. You have to figure out how to wield power from the margins.
I'm not in the margins. I am a wealthy woman marrying one of the finest lawyer, politician, writer, architects in the colonies. I'm not like your daughters.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Ready? Don't you have something to do?
Exactly. Thank you, John.
Yes, sir. Congratulations.
You look lovely. I assume the two of you will be living here at the forest for a while?
Tom wants us to live at Monticello.
He wants my daughter to live in an unfinished house?
It's on top of a mountain.
I don't care where it is.
The view is gorgeous.
It's an unfinished house.
But it's not uninhabitable.
I don't understand either one of you sometimes. Shall we?
I now pronounce you man and wife.
Scene 11. In the honeymoon cottage at Monticello. The architectural plans for the house are rolled up in a corner. There is a stack of books with a bottle of wine behind them, a piano, and a small bed. Martha and Jefferson rush in, bundled up against the cold.
Oh, the greatest snowfall this part of Virginia has seen since it was settled. Nature is celebrating our marriage with 3 feet of snow.
I'm not sure I like this wedding gift.
I'll get a fire started.
So, this is the famous Monticello I've heard so much about.
Well, it's the start of it. This little cottage is the only inhabitable space so far.
You've taken me to live in a construction site.
You say that like it's not exciting.
It's not exciting. This place is dreary.
Only because you're seeing it for the first time at 2 a.m. after traveling through a blizzard all day.
It's one brick room.
It's 2 brick rooms. There's a room directly below us, which serves as a kitchen.
Oh, perfect. I'm starving.
There's no food down there.
What?
It's 2 a.m.
There's no food.
We didn't send word that we were coming, and apparently there's no firewood either.
We're in a one-room cottage in the middle of a blizzard.
It's a 2-room cottage.
We don't have food or fire.
No, but I have found this bottle of wine, which can double as both.
I'm going to have a bottle of wine for dinner in my first night in my new home.
Half a bottle of wine. I'd like some too.
Don't you have any glasses?
Somewhere. Oh.
So you've been working on Monticello for years. How is this cottage all you have to show for it?
You can't rush a masterpiece.
A masterpiece? Are you that good an architect?
We'll find out. I don't have any formal training, but I've read a lot about it.
I'm not sure that's the same thing.
A person can develop any skill they put their mind to. Were you born knowing how to make beer and candles and soap?
No, but I had women around to teach me.
And I have architects around to teach me.
In books. So what do you do if you have a question?
I read more.
Most landowning men choose a stock design and a contractor.
I am not most landowning men.
Yes, I figured that out.
Would you like to see the plans?
You have the plans for your house in here, but no food or firewood.
Priorities, Patty.
You know a contractor would have finished this house by now.
A contractor would have had a house finished by now, but it wouldn't be Monticello. Here it is. And it's not just a house. I'm designing gardens and outbuildings and slave quarters. It's going to be unlike any other house in the colonies. Do you like it?
It looks fine.
You think something's wrong with it?
No, I don't.
What can you possibly think is wrong with it?
Nothing's wrong with it. It's just... Well, there's not a whole lot of space in the dining room or the bedroom wings.
Well, I want to keep the aesthetic.
You can keep the aesthetic and still make the house bigger, just...
Don't write down. Don't write on it.
It makes some octagonal additions to each wing, and it will blend in.
Huh. I like that. Are you sure you're not an architect?
Oh, I mean, I don't have any formal training, but according to you, who needs it?
Exactly.
This will be a beautiful house. Tom.
Yes.
I think I'm drunk.
Oh, good. I've been trying very hard to pass for sober.
Those wine hit me fast.
In retrospect, maybe fighting our way through a blizzard and then drinking a bottle of wine on an empty stomach wasn't the best choice.
I'm warm, though.
Me too. I'm hot. It's hot in here. Oh!
What happened?
The piano.
What?
I bought a piano as a wedding gift.
For me?
No, for my other wife who plays the piano.
It's beautiful.
Play something.
Now.
Yes, now we're celebrating.
She begins playing the Liberty Song written by John Dickinson.
Come join hand in hand, brave Americans all.
And raise your bold hearts at fair liberty's call. No tyrannous act shall suppress.
Wait, where's your violin?
My violin? Still at the forest. I didn't want to get it damaged in the blizzard.
No, but we're celebrating.
I'll go get it as soon as the weather clears.
Go get food as soon as the weather clears.
Mrs. Jefferson, once again, your priorities are all wrong. Mrs. Jefferson.
Your teeth are purple. Wait, I need to sit.
She sits on the bed. He sits next to her.
I don't usually get this drunk off half a bottle of wine.
Me either. But I also tend to eat lunch and dinner.
It makes a real difference.
I'm sorry today was less than ideal.
Today ended up being perfect.
Hey, we're on the bed.
Very subtle.
Scene 12, still in the honeymoon cottage.
Jupiter! Jupiter!
Do you need something?
Yes, congratulate me. I'm a father.
Congratulations.
Martha Jefferson, named for her mother and her mother's mother. We're calling her Patsy.
Wonderful. Where's her namesake?
Getting cleaned up. From my understanding, though, I'm trying to understand as little as possible. There are a lot of fluids that need to be dealt with.
Ah,
Just coming out of everywhere.
I see.
It's actually quite horrifying.
I'm sorry I asked.
Do you want to hold her?
No, that's all right.
Oh, she's very smart. You could tell she's very smart. Look.
She looks very smart.
Doesn't she?
Did you call me here just for this, or do you need something?
Just for this.
All right.
You sure you don't want to hold her?
I'm sure.
Oh, smell her head.
No, thank you.
Ah, there she is. Jupiter, go tell everyone how smart Patsy looks.
Yes, sir. Congratulations, Mrs. Jefferson.
Martha painfully climbs into bed.
Tom, I've been thinking, when you head back to Williamsburg, what would you think about Patsy and me going to stay at Elk Hill?
Bathurst's house.
My house?
Well, this is your house.
This is a 2-room cottage.
You don't like our honeymoon cottage?
It's charming, but when you're in Williamsburg, it just feels small.
Ah, Bathurst's ghost is more agreeable.
It has nothing to do with Bathurst.
Doesn't it?
No. When the assembly's in session and you're not here, why should I stay when I own a house? Finished, furnished house.
I'm building Monticello as fast as I can.
I know.
But it still takes time.
You can't rush a masterpiece.
Do you wish you were still married to Bathurst?
Tom, you know I love you.
Well, when the session ends, I'm going to drag you back to Monticello.
Of course. Unless my dad gets sicker, then I'll stay at the forest for a while to take care of him.
So basically what you're saying is you want to live in every house but mine.
I want to live in this house most of all. Finish building it.
Patience, Mrs. Jefferson. I'm hungry. You want any food? We can have wine and cheese. Pretend we're in Paris.
Maybe later.
All right. Well, I'm going to see what Ursula's cooking. À plus tard, mes filles.
Your daddy is the slowest architect I've ever met. I think your daddy has too much on his plate. Patsy, your grandmother's here.
Patsy? That was my nickname.
We named her for you.
How sweet. And how are you feeling?
Tired. More tired than after Jack.
Sometimes it's hard to bounce back quickly.
Having a hard time feeding her. Tom bought a woman named Ursula to serve as a wet nurse.
Well, that should solve the problem.
But what's wrong with me?
It's a stressful time in the colonies, and your husband is involved in it. I'm sure that has an effect on your body.
You think that's all it is, though?
Of course. Don't worry. She looks like Tom.
Drink this, Mr. Wales. Try this cold compress.
Spotlight on Wales as he enters and looks around, confused. Another spotlight on Martha Epps Wales as she enters and stands smiling at him. Eventually, his eyes reach her. He gasps in delight, leaves his spotlight, and rushes towards her. She stands with her arms outstretched. They embrace. Her spotlight goes out. Betty enters the spotlight.
Have you seen the ocean before, Betty? Well, it's in your blood, you know. I've been captaining this whaling ship for years, just like my father before me and his father before him. You're a child of the Atlantic, really. Your mother and I each came to Virginia by ship. I couldn't save her, but I can save you. Do you smell the sea? The port towns in England all smell like the sea. You can live in London if you'd like. London has the largest African population. And you'll be free when you get there. They ruled it last year. You're going to love it there, Betty. 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 Betty.
Scene 13. Martha, dressed in black and pregnant, stands in the honeymoon cottage looking at Betty.
Betty,
Yes.
I'm just so happy you're here. I'm going to miss my dad terribly, but it's wonderful to have the Hemmings family at Monticello. I know it's not really ideal here yet, but it's going to be a beautiful house. Just wait. Whew. I need to sit. I'm tired. I get tired when I'm pregnant now. Did you ever feel that way? Well, you're stronger than I am, I guess. I'm built stronger. I'm built like my mother. You know, my parents were only married 2 years before she died. Tom and I will be married 2 years in January. The baby's due not too long after that. Not too long after 2 years.
If you don't need anything, I think I'll get my children and myself set up in our cabins.
Yes, of course. Get comfortable.
Mama, you can see all the way to Charlottesville up here. Oh, hello, Mrs. Jefferson.
Hello, Sally.
Come on now. We need to get ourselves unpacked.
I was right! Oh, hello, Betty.
Right about what?
Last night's earthquake was the first recorded earthquake in Virginia history.
Oh.
Well, that's all the excitement you can muster for Virginia's first earthquake.
Is it horrible to say I'm glad Betty lives here now when the only reason she's here is because my dad died?
No. Is it horrible to say I find it disconcerting to all of a sudden have my house full of young servants with my wife's face?
They don't look exactly like me.
Close enough.
Well, because of the special connection I have with the Hemmings family, could we give them only light household duties?
Oh, of course. Your dad left us plenty of servants. We've got more than enough hands to build Monticello. We should start making real progress on the house, especially now that Lord Dunmore has postponed the Virginia Assembly.
That doesn't mean you'll be around to supervise construction. You'll be out tending to your law caseload.
No, I'm quitting my law practice. Why are you frowning?
Because you didn't tell me you were thinking about quitting.
So? You don't include me in decisions about the household, and I don't get upset.
Because you don't want to be included.
Because men and women have different roles. It's the law of nature, Patty. Mess with that, and all society falls apart. Do you not want me to be home more?
I would love for you to be home more.
Then everything's fine. Will you look at this?
It's Elk Hill.
Did I draw it right?
Yes, this is it exactly. What's that for?
An advertisement. I'm selling it.
What?
Your father left us a lot of debt to take care of. We need to sell some property to pay it down.
Tom, that's my house.
This is your house.
Yes, but...
We don't need it.
But you like the things you want more than the things you need.
I don't want it.
Are you sure? It's a great place to host hunting parties.
I don't like hunting parties.
Well, your sister Martha does, and it's near her home. That poor widowed woman with those children. You should visit her more.
I know I should.
And Elk Hill is the perfect place to stay when you do, since her house is so crowded.
That's true.
It's closer to both my sisters also, and they're all the family I have now that my dad is gone.
Family is important.
It is. Plus, it's so hard for you to concentrate and get work done here with all the construction.
It is very noisy.
You're doing so many important things. I wish you could spend more time at Elk Hill, where you could focus on all those demands without the incessant clanging that goes on here.
The solitude would be nice. And we could invite our sisters and their families over for dinners.
Certainly large enough to hold them all.
You know, if we buy the tracts of land on either side of Elk Hill, we would double its size. That would really improve the hunting parties.
That's a wonderful idea.
Would you like me to buy them?
Oh, it's your decision. I don't want to mess with the laws of nature.
This came for you.
Oh, thank you.
Jupiter, are you heading down to the kitchen?
I can.
No, it's not necessary. I've just been meaning to thank Ursula. Patsy was doing so poorly until Ursula started feeding her. If you see her, just let her know I said thank you. And thank little Archie as well for sharing his mother.
Archie died this morning.
What? Was he sick?
Didn't get enough to eat.
Oh.
Will that be all?
Yes. Thank you. We killed that baby.
No, where are you going?
To apologize to Ursula. I know how it feels to bury a son. She's not in the kitchen. Are you all right?
I need to go lie down.
One of your headaches?
Yes, I need you to talk to Jupiter for me.
About what?
About this.
What's this?
I need to go lie down.
Where would I find?
Betty? Can you get Jupiter?
Oh, of course.
You wanted to see me?
Yes. Jupiter. Hello.
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 Is this about Archie?
No. No. Mr. Jefferson received a letter which concerns you.
Where is he?
He's lying down, one of his headaches.
Oh.
Jupiter, do you remember the earthquake?
Last night?
Yes. It frightened Mr. Jefferson's sister Elizabeth over at Shadwell, and she's, mentally...
Slow?
Yes.
Is this about my sister?
Yes. Little Sal has always taken such good care of Elizabeth.
What happened to my sister?
Well, Elizabeth was frightened by the earthquake.
Right.
She was trying to get here to be with her brother.
Uh-huh.
And little Sal went with her.
Because she has to go with her everywhere.
Yes. So They tried to cross the Rivanna in a small boat, but the river has been swollen from...
All the rain.
Yes, and I don't know exactly...
What happened to my sister?
Both of your sisters drowned. I'm so sorry, Jupiter. Little Sal was the best caretaker Elizabeth could ever have asked for. And...
Why couldn't he tell me?
Mr. Jefferson.
Yes.
Because the news triggered one of his headaches. But he wanted you to know right away. If you need to take some time to...
Is that all?
What?
Am I dismissed?
Oh. Yes.
Thank you.
He shouldn't have made you do that.
He gets debilitating headaches.
They can't be worse than childbirth, and we're expected to power through that.
Is it normal to feel personally responsible when people are unhappy?
Yes. The home is supposed to be a happy place, and the home is your domain, so everyone's happiness is your responsibility.
But that's impossible.
So try not to feel personally responsible.
I can't help it. I'm not good at this. Tom is doing such big, important things, and what am I doing?
Helping.
No, I'm not. He's up all night writing important papers by candlelight, and I'm only up all night because I'm pregnant and uncomfortable.
But that is helping him. You're giving him an heir, and he may be writing important papers by candlelight, but who's in charge of making the candles? Who's in charge of buying the ink? Tom may be doing big, important things, but he can't do them without you.
Of course he can.
No. You make the household function. You make the guests feel welcome. And while you're making sure everyone else is happy, while you're filling your husband's home with laughter and song and candles and food, you're pregnant. You're always pregnant. And you're wondering, will I survive the birth of this baby? Will I be here to see the dogwoods bloom next spring? So don't ever think that you're not doing important things, because you are. And unlike your husband, you have to do them with a smile on your face. Why don't you get Tom a compress for his forehead?
I'll be married 2 years in January. Just like you were. Will I survive the birth of this baby?
Get your husband a compress, Patty. He can't save the colonies from King George if his head hurts too much to think.
The God who gave us life gave us liberty at the same time. The hand of force may destroy, but cannot destroy them.
Our properties within our own territories should not be taxed or regulated by any power on earth but our
An
own.
exasperated people who feel that they possess power are not easily restrained.
Thomas Jefferson!
Am I in trouble?
You know you are.
What did I do?
A summary view of the rights of British America.
I had nothing to do with that.
It's got your name on it.
I wrote it for Congress, but they said it was too radical.
And yet I have a copy in my hand.
It was published without my permission.
Well, now it's everywhere. They could hang you for this.
It's not my fault.
Patsy would barely remember you, and Jane would have no memories at all.
Jane's going to have plenty of memories. The king won't hang me. He's too busy dealing with a harbor full of tea in Boston.
You're glad it was published.
But I didn't publish it.
If you get yourself hanged, I'm hiring a contractor to finish this house. Do you hear me? You'll be lying under the oak tree next to Dabney, watching a contractor finish this house with a stock design. Do you hear me?
I hear you.
Stop laughing. I'll do it. How is she doing?
Not well.
I wrote to Mr. Jefferson in Philadelphia. Do you think he'll arrive in time?
Hope so.
Scene 15. Martha, dressed in black, sits in a chair in her bedroom in Monticello, staring out with no expression. Betty brushes Martha's hair.
Maybe it's for the best. The way things are going in these colonies, it's no place for children. At least Mr. Jefferson made it home before Jane died.
I'm in no mood for silver linings.
My dad was a British whaling captain. He wanted to take me back to England. I think a lot about how different my life would be if I had been allowed to go. But if I had, none of my children would exist. You've got to cling to your silver linings. I'll get you some tea.
I don't like being pregnant. I don't like giving birth. And I don't like burying my children.
I know, but you can't stop having them.
Why not?
Because bearing and raising children is your job.
Well, what if bearing children kills me like it killed you? Who's going to step in and do the raising? I remember how my stepmothers treated me. Don't want Patsy to be raised by a stepmother.
That's not something you can control.
I can control it if I stop having children.
Having children is your job.
Then I quit. Things have changed since you were alive. If the colonies can quit the British Empire, then I can quit having children.
No, you can't.
I'm going to talk to Tom.
No, Patty, you're grieving. You're not thinking straight. Give it a few days.
I don't need to listen to you. You're not even really here. You know who's here? Betty. And she would tell me to talk to Tom.
It doesn't matter what Betty would tell you to do. She's not your mother.
She's the woman who raised me.
But I'm the woman who bore you.
You weren't around.
I wanted to be.
Then why can't you understand me when I say that I want to be around for Patsy?
I picked a beautiful spot for her. Do you want to see it?
Don't say anything to him. Give it a few days.
Will she be near Jack?
Yes. I'm going to tell John Hancock that I can't return to Congress.
Giving up your seat won't bring Jane back.
But what if something happens to Patsy and I can't get home in time?
Nothing's going to happen to Patsy. Tom?
What?
Don't. Give it a few days.
Nothing.
Jupiter begins walking through a spotlight. Betty joins him.
Jupiter Evans.
Am I in trouble?
You know you are.
What'd I do?
When are you gonna marry that woman?
Did Suck tell you to talk to me?
No, I'm tired of watching Sook cry. So I'm taking matters into my own hands.
She'll cry more if I marry her, and if we have kids, and if we're all sold to different plantations.
The Jeffersons aren't perfect, but they don't break up families.
They sell children sometimes.
You're his personal valet. They won't sell yours.
And what if the British hang the Jeffersons tomorrow?
I hear they're promising freedom to the slaves and rebels who fight for the king. So you could just walk off with them after the hanging.
They're not going to give guns to slaves.
They're saying they might.
No. They want to regain control of the colonies, not destroy them.
Sounds like life is unpredictable and you should find happiness where you can.
I can't marry.
Marry that woman.
Jupiter?
Tom's calling.
He probably needs some money.
Let me know when you and Sucker jump in the broom. I'd love to attend.
A spotlight illuminates Thomas Jefferson holding a piece of paper. John Adams enters.
Mr. Jefferson,
Mr. Adams,
it's done.
I think so.
When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another.
In a second spotlight, Martha appears, 4 months pregnant.
All right, so we have enough meat, sugar.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights.
Betty?
And among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Betty!
Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it.
What's wrong?
I don't know.
All experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed.
It's my stomach.
Does it feel like cramping?
Yes, but worse.
But when a long train of abuses evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government.
All right, I'm going to go get Sally, and we're going to draw you an ice water bath.
Won't that hurt the baby?
Honey, you're losing the baby.
The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations.
Help!
It's all right. This happens.
How do I stop it?
To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world.
You can't stop it, but when it's over, you should be fine, physically.
Betty and Sally enter, dragging a large basin.
He has refused his assent to laws.
Sally, get her dress off.
No.
He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly.
Get in the ice bath, Patty.
He has obstructed the administration of justice.
No, that's going to hurt the baby.
He has made our judges dependent on his will alone.
There's no baby anymore. Now we're just trying to keep the bleeding down.
He has affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power.
No, let me talk to Tom. He'll agree with me. It's going to be bad for the baby.
For quartering large bodies of armed troops among us.
Mr. Jefferson's not here.
For cutting off our trade with all parts of the world.
Tom, tell them.
For imposing taxes on us without our consent.
He's not here, honey. He's in Philadelphia.
For depriving us of the benefit of trial by jury.
He's never here.
For taking away our charters.
Let's get you to the tub.
For suspending our own legislatures.
Help me, Sally.
He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people.
No, I think I feel better. I think it's fine.
In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms.
Sit down.
A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people.
It's too cold. It's going to hurt the baby.
The baby's gone, Patty.
We utterly dissolve all political connection which may heretofore have subsisted between us.
I'll get you a fresh dress, and Sally will grab you some tea. You hear, Sally?
Yes, Mama.
We do assert and declare these colonies to be free and independent states.
A lot of women go through this. Don't feel guilty.
And for the support of this declaration, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and of sacred honor.
I'm sorry, Patty.
What do you think?
You're very good with words. Let's present it to Congress.
Do you think they'll adopt it?
I think your words are about to birth a new nation.
Scene 16. Martha sits in her bedroom at Monticello. Jefferson enters with his travel bag and places it down slowly.
Hi.
Hi.
I knew I shouldn't have gone back to Philadelphia.
It's fine.
They wouldn't let me leave until Richard Henry Lee came back, a Virginian for a Virginian.
It's fine.
I wrote to him all summer begging him to come back so I could go home.
Tom, I'm fine. Everything's fine.
I should have been here.
No, you shouldn't have. No one else could have written that declaration like you did.
Does that mean you won't hire a contractor to finish the house after they hang me?
Yes, that's what it means.
I asked to be replaced in Philadelphia.
Don't do that.
It's done. But now they want me to go to Williamsburg to reform Virginia's government.
Oh,
Come with me?
what?
You stopped writing to me. I got exactly one letter from you since I returned to Philadelphia. You sent word about the miscarriage, and that was it. Why didn't you answer any of my letters?
I don't know. I was...
Come to Williamsburg. Please.
If you want me to.
I do. We've been apart for far too long. I'm going to get some wine to celebrate.
Martha picks up his bag and pulls out a pile of clothes. She smiles and hugs the clothes to her, then places them on the bed. She pulls out a stack of papers and goes to place them on the bed, but the paper on top catches her eye.
Congress asked you to go to Paris with Dr. Franklin.
Oh. Yes. They wanted me to convince the French to help with our war effort.
Why didn't you tell me?
Because I turned it down.
You turned down Paris.
I'd be gone for years.
You've wanted to go to Paris for so long.
Yes, with you, not with Ben Franklin.
You should have taken it.
We'll go to Paris together. When we're done having children, and you're not sick because you're pregnant or sick because you're recovering, we'll go to Paris then.
And when will that be?
Careful.
I don't know. Later. You want to have more children, right?
Careful.
I want what you want.
Well, I want to finish building this house, fill it with children, and then take you to Paris.
Then that's what I want.
It's a boy!
Spotlight on Jupiter holding his own baby.
Betty, Betty.
What do you need? I got enough people hollering for me all day.
I'm a father.
I heard. Congratulations.
Her name is Aggie. She's perfect. Doesn't she look perfect?
She looks perfect.
Have you ever smelled the baby's head?
I have.
It's amazing.
How's Sook doing?
Fine. I mean, all things considered, there's a lot of fluids involved.
I'm glad to hear it.
Actually, she's fine now, but I think it was actually pretty hard on her.
It's harder on some women than on others.
We're going to be careful so she doesn't end up having more pregnancies than she can handle.
That's a good idea. I have to start on the laundry, but congratulations to both of you.
You're perfect.
Scene 17. Martha's room at Monticello. Jefferson sits at the desk. Jupiter shaves him.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised by it. I was forced to strike the slavery clause from the Declaration of Independence, too.
You should definitely not be surprised by it.
I was really hoping to outlaw it in the state constitution. Oh well, it'll happen eventually. We see the hypocrisy of fighting for our freedom while, at the same time, you know.
I'm glad to hear it.
Justice and the laws of nature demand that we abolish slavery. I'd rather work my farm with my own two hands.
Of course.
You don't believe me?
Sure I do.
You've always been a bad liar. If you have something to say to me, say it.
I don't have anything to say.
All right.
If you hate slavery so much, why don't you free us?
I knew you had something to say. It's more complicated than that.
It's not.
It is. And you know I don't like complications. I should stop talking to you about what goes on in the General Assembly. You don't understand.
It's not complicated. If justice and the laws of nature demand it, then any complications are yours.
The whole economy is based on slavery. What am I supposed to do? Do you have any idea how many debts I have? My income depends on the labor of my servants.
Slaves.
If I free you, what will become of my family?
If you don't, what will become of mine?
I'll keep you all together. You know I would never sell Sook or Aggie away.
And what happens if you drop dead tomorrow?
I'll put it in my will that you're all free upon the event of my death.
Spoken like a man who would truly rather work his farm with his own hands.
I would.
You're a coward.
Excuse me?
You try to pick away at slavery, but you're afraid to take a real stand against it.
That's not true.
It is.
You don't fully understand the situation. If you were in my shoes,
If I were in your shoes, I would have told you to your face that my sister got yours killed. Only a coward would delegate that to his wife.
What? We're done here.
Fine. Shave your own face.
Maybe I will.
Not likely.
Betty! Betty!
Tom, stop shouting.
Sorry.
Got the baby to sleep.
Sorry. Betty!
You need something, Mr. Jefferson?
Your son, Bob. He's trained in domestic affairs?
Yes, sir.
And tell him that he is to be my new personal valet, effective immediately.
Yes, sir.
What about Jupiter?
Oh, what about Jupiter? I'm tired of Jupiter. We've been together 34 years.
Exactly. What is he supposed to do now?
He could work in the stables.
The stables.
You're the one who wanted the Hemmings family to get preferential treatment. I'm just doing what you asked.
I didn't mean.
One more thing, Betty. Bring me my record book. I'm transferring ownership of Sook and Aggie to Patsy.
What about Jupiter?
What about Jupiter?
Tom.
When Patsy grows up, if she decides she wants to keep them all together, that's up to her.
Tom.
That'll be all, Betty.
What happened?
Nothing.
Something happened.
I don't want to talk about it.
I'm sure. But whatever it was doesn't warrant.
Mrs. Jefferson, the baby doesn't look right.
What? Why is he blue? Why is he turning blue?
May this unnamed son of Thomas and Martha Jefferson rest in eternal peace with his older sister Jane, his half-brother John Skelton, and our Lord Jesus Christ.
You need to give him an air, Patty.
It's a girl. Mary. We're calling her Polly.
Try again, Patty.
Another girl. Lucy. Doesn't she look smart?
A spotlight illuminates Martha sitting on the floor, exhausted from childbirth.
You're not built for all these children.
I'll be fine. I just need to rest for a little bit. I'll be good as new.
Guess who was just elected governor of Virginia? Pack up, ladies. We're moving to Richmond.
How much rest do you think you're going to get as First Lady of Virginia during the Revolution?
Maybe the British Army will surrender before we get to Richmond.
The British Army doesn't surrender. Come on, Sally. Let's start packing.
Scene 18, a rented house in Richmond serving as the governor's home. Betty and Sally sit together sewing.
Not quite like that. If you loop it this way, it'll hold better.
Can't get it.
It takes practice. When my mother taught me, I got so frustrated I threw the whole petticoat against the wall.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm. That sure got her mad. Okay, look again. You loop it like this.
Like this?
Yes, almost. And then you double back to knot it.
Ugh.
You'll get it. You'll be as skilled as your grandmother one day.
What was she like?
She was strong. She could survive anything that was thrown at her. That's what I love most about her. And what I miss most.
What did you like most about my father?
Sally, life is complicated. But I sure love you. Oh, did you need something?
No, I just came to sit. I shouldn't complain because I have so much less to do than Mr. Jefferson, but First Lady duties make me tired.
Stop having babies and you'll get your energy back.
Again with this.
I can't.
There's ways to prevent pregnancy.
The Hemmings.
No, I couldn't. What kind of wife would I be?
Exactly.
Talk to Mr. Jefferson. I know he doesn't want you dead, but he's killing you.
Don't let Betty poison your mind.
I have to try to give him a son.
Is he asking for a son?
No.
Every man wants a son.
Then stop having children.
You can absolutely not stop having children.
Shh.
I don't mean to bother you. Sally and I can do our sewing somewhere else.
No, you don't have to leave. I just...
Yes, she should leave.
But give some thought to it. You're built like your mother.
Don't listen to her. She doesn't have your best interests at heart.
Of course she does.
If you die in childbirth, what happens to her family? Will Tom sell all her kids off to pay down the debts your father left him?
No, I told him I wanted them to be treated well.
You'll be dead.
But he would still honor my wishes.
Are you sure? It's in her best interest for you to stay alive.
I mean, it's in my best interest also.
There are things worse than death.
Like what?
Loss of reputation if it were to get out that you were doing things to prevent pregnancy.
Loss of reputation is worse than death.
You know it is, Patty.
I really think if I just sat Tom down and...
No. Don't let Betty cause you to ruin your life.
She's not trying to. I don't understand why you have such a problem with her. She's the closest thing I had to a mother.
That's my problem. She got what was mine. I got 27 years and then she got my life.
Well, if it's any consolation, I don't think she wanted it.
It's not.
Maybe I will talk to Tom. I don't want to spend my afterlife consumed with jealousy like you.
I'm not jealous.
There you are.
I'm not jealous.
The British Army is coming. Get the girls and go. Where's Betty? Betty!
They're coming to Richmond.
I told them I'm not a military man. I told them I don't feel comfortable being in charge if the war comes here. Betty! I told them I wanted to retire so someone better qualified could serve. Betty! Oh, Betty, gather up some clothing and then meet Mrs. Jefferson and the children at the carriage. We'll go to Tuckahoe.
But the snowstorm, Lucy's so
But we
small.
don't have an option. Bundle her up. I'll meet you at Tuckahoe.
You're not coming with us.
I can't run away. I'm the governor.
What if they capture you?
I can see the ships. They're almost here.
Sally, find Jupiter. Tell him to get my horse ready, and then I need both of you to hide the valuables.
Please let Sally go with Mrs. Jefferson. I'll stay here and help.
Of course.
No, the children know you best. You'll be a calming influence. Sally will be fine. The British Army doesn't kill servants.
But they captured him, and then they die of disease in the British camps.
If you all start moving, no one will get captured.
Tom, I think it's fine if Sally comes with the girls and me instead of Betty.
And Sally, go find Jupiter. Betty, start packing.
But...
Go! Patty, get the girls.
I'm sorry, Betty.
I told you that you had to be a lawyer. Why haven't you been practicing?
I'm sorry.
I'll meet you at the carriage.
Jupiter and Sally enter, their arms full of valuables such as silver and jewelry.
Where are we supposed to hide all of this?
I don't know. Let me think. Here, cut out the pages and put the silver inside.
Tom's got to be mad.
Tom has plenty of books.
He and Sally cut the pages of the books, drop the valuables inside, and reshelve the books until all the valuables are hidden.
So the Jeffersons have abandoned Emmy's family, too, in the end.
Stop, Jupiter.
After all you've done to distinguish yourself.
Stop. Try to hide, baby. Don't let them find you. There's smallpox in their camps. You tell them you're the granddaughter of a British sea captain, Captain John Hemmings. Remember his name.
Captain John Hemmings.
You smell the sea, Betty. You'll be free when you get there. You smell the sea.
Smell the sea. I smell the sea.
Betty, I won't let them take her. We'll meet you at Tuckahoe.
I smell the sea.
We'll be fine. Maybe the soldiers won't even come up to the bedrooms.
Open up by order of the king.
Get under the bed.
Where's the governor?
Gone.
Gone where?
The mountains.
Where does he keep the silver?
In the kitchen pantry, but it's gone, too.
Are you lying?
I'm not in the habit of lying to people pointing guns at me.
Jefferson's not here. Sack the house. See what you can find.
I thought he was going to shoot you.
So did I. I can't believe he made you stay. I mean, me? I got too complicated for him, but you're Patty's sister.
That's also complicated.
After the British leave, you want to raid the wine cellar?
Yes, I do.
There was one in this room.
Sally dives under the bed.
You're coming with me.
Am I?
To our encampment at Yorktown. His Majesty's army is liberating you.
His Majesty's army is going to give me smallpox.
There's rumors are greatly exaggerated. And we could use an able-bodied creature like yourself.
I'm a man.
Let's go.
Sir, I have a wife and a daughter.
Let's go.
I don't want to get smallpox and die in Yorktown.
Let's go. I've got another one.
Sally slowly crawls out from under the bed, staring at the door through which the redcoat has taken Jupiter. Spotlight on Martha holding and talking to Lucy.
One day, Lucy, your sisters and I will tell you how you spent your first few months running from the British. Your life is already very exciting.
I'm sorry, Patty.
What are you doing? Give her back. Give her back.
And while Benedict Arnold burned millions of pounds worth of tobacco, cotton, and other goods, where was Governor Jefferson? Watching, helplessly, and then running away.
That's right!
And where is he now? Back at Monticello, declining all public duties, blaming it all on the death of his daughter and the depression of his wife.
Yeah.
A coward who would hide behind such excuses after such gross mismanagement and dereliction of his duties deserves to be governor no longer. I call for an investigation.
Yes, that's right.
Yes!
Martha's room at Monticello. Jefferson sits at the desk.
I picked a beautiful spot for her. Please stop blaming yourself.
Why? If I hadn't accepted the governorship, she'd still be alive.
Lots of things kill babies. We don't know that it was all the running from place to place.
I was too proud to turn it down. And now Lucy's dead. My career's over.
Your career's not over.
You're calling me a coward.
General Washington said you did everything you could have done.
I just read more books on military leadership.
Tom, you are many things, but nobody can be everything.
If you apply yourself, you can be. I should have worked harder.
You managed to ride all over Richmond trying to help and still got out of the city without being captured. They should be commending you.
They should be commending Jupiter. He put the horseshoes on backwards. The British chased me all over Richmond in the wrong direction.
What? I hope he's all right.
I'm sure he's fine. I, however, am finished.
Mr. Jefferson, a member of the Virginia militia is downstairs. He says the British are headed to Monticello to hang you.
Of course they are. Why would they give me time to mourn my daughter?
We haven't tried hiding at Poplar Forest yet. Maybe we should go there.
Yes. It's all right. Betty, tell Bob to ready the carriage.
I'll get Patsy and Polly and meet you outside.
No, I have to make sure everything is taken care of here first.
Tom, you got lucky in Richmond, but you can't.
I'm not the coward they think I am.
Of course you're not, but don't be a fool to prove it.
I'll be right behind you.
You're not a coward.
I'm worried that I am.
I'm certain that you're not.
Jefferson's not here, but he's got some great wine in the cellar.
Destroy it all!
Scene 20. An overseer's cabin at Poplar Forest. It is sparsely furnished with a simple bed and desk. Martha is throwing up into a bucket while Sally holds her hair.
Would it help if I got some more ginger?
I don't think so. I can't keep it down. It must not help with the nausea as much as Mr. Jefferson says it does.
Baby strong?
Well, then here's hoping it gets a little weaker.
I thought you might be able to use this lemon.
Do I eat it?
Scratch at the peel, then smell it. The citrus smell helps sometimes. It didn't work with all my kids, but it worked with some.
Thanks, Betty. I'm going to talk to him after the baby's born.
Good.
I just hope it's not too late. I don't want my girls raised by a stepmother.
Then make sure they're not.
I don't have the power to stop him from remarrying.
That's not true. He turned down a position in Paris because he'd be away from you. He gave up his seat in Congress because he stopped writing to him. You have power over that man. All you've got to do is wield it.
How?
Well, Patty, they found me.
The British?
No, the Congress. Why are you smelling a lemon?
Betty says it might help with the nausea.
Ginger helps with the nausea. Just eat the ginger.
Are you going to take the advice of a woman who suffered through 14 pregnancies, or are you going to listen to a man?
Can't I listen to you both? What does Congress want with you? Stop writing. Your wrist is never going to properly heal.
It's just a quick thought and then I'll stop. I've been asked to become a peace commissioner in Europe.
Europe?
I'm going to decline, of course.
But
I don't want to be away from you and the girls. But it does make me feel good, especially given the way my governorship ended. This is a much nicer note on which to retire from politics.
you're not retiring.
Oh, I most certainly am.
You're 38.
A gentleman can retire at any age.
You should go see Paris.
We'll see Paris together. Betty, I need more ink.
Please stop writing so it will heal.
There's nothing else to do here. Your father's will didn't warn us that the only sound structures at Popular Forest were an overseer's cabin, some slave cabins, and a barn.
Don't pretend your heart wasn't bursting with excitement at the thought of designing a new house. I bet you had plans drawn up within a week.
Do you want to see them?
No. I want you to stop writing so your wrist will heal.
A messenger brought this for you, sir. He says the British Army destroyed your house.
My house? No. No. Oh. Oh, it's fine. It was too hard to get all their supplies at the mountains, so they occupied Elk Hill instead. That's the house they destroyed. Oh, my heart. Ah. They got me so scared. Oh. Oh. Oh, Patty, I'm sorry.
It's all right. We'll rebuild. It's just a house.
Another thing gone. That's my fault. How can I make it up to you?
Take me to Paris when the war is over.
I will. We'll stay in a fancy Parisian boarding house, and we'll barely remember the summer when Elk Hill was destroyed and we lived in an overseer's cabin at Poplar Forest.
When I was sick as a dog and you broke your wrist because you fell off your horse like an idiot.
Well, I prefer my summary. Poor Patty. I told you a lemon wouldn't work. Eat the ginger. I have the mortification to inform your excellency that I have been forced to surrender the troops under my command as prisoners of war to the combined forces of America and France.
Load it up. We're heading back to Monticello.
Jupiter and Jefferson face each other in the spotlight. Jefferson's wrist is no longer bound.
You're back.
Yes.
I was happy to hear that General Washington had liberated you from Yorktown and would be bringing you home.
Uh-huh.
Did the British treat you well?
Yes.
And you didn't get smallpox?
No.
Good. Well, the horses missed you.
Sally.
Yeah, Mama.
Get Mr. Jefferson.
Something wrong?
Get Mr. Jefferson, hurry.
Scene 21. Martha's room at Monticello. Martha lies propped up in the bed. Jefferson sits in a chair beside the bed, holding one of her hands between both of his. Betty is bustling about the room.
And I read the recipes to Ursula while she cooks. Maybe you can have Patsy do that.
All right.
What else? What else do you need to know?
This isn't necessary. You're going to start feeling better any day.
Oh, you'll need someone to supervise the hog slaughtering. Oh, and the inventory in the farm book is up to date, so you should have a pretty good idea of what you'll need to purchase next month.
All right.
What else? What else? Oh no. Am I out of time?
Yes.
But I don't want. Wait. Tom, I need you to promise me something.
I promise.
Let me say it first.
Whatever it is, I promise.
I need you to promise me you won't remarry.
Remarry?
No, take it back.
I won't let some other woman raise my girls.
Don't do this to him.
My stepmothers were both awful to me. I don't want my daughters to go through that.
He's young, he's wealthy, and he's famous. He will have his pick. He'll find a good woman.
Please, Tom. Please, I need you to promise me that you won't remarry.
He has 3 daughters, Patty. A girl needs a mother.
Girl needs love, and Tom will give them plenty.
You're going to ruin his life.
He's young, he's wealthy, and he's famous. He'll be fine. I want to ensure that my daughters are fine too. Please promise you won't remarry.
I promise.
Good.
People are going to talk about you. They'll call you selfish and worse.
I don't care. I'll be dead.
She figured out how to wield it.
Oh, you like this, do you? It figures. This is your fault. It has Betty Hemmings all over it.
Stop.
You've been poisoning my daughter's mind her whole life.
Stop. I'm ready. Goodbye, Betty. Take care of my girls.
Like I took care of you. You turned into a pretty good lawyer.
I mentioned that the farm book is up to date, right?
Stop. Stop. This can't happen. What am I supposed to do if you're not here?
Well, you still have to see Paris.
We're going to see Paris together.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, baby.
You look just the way I've imagined you.
Addie? Addie? Addie?
Scene 22. Jefferson sits alone on the floor of the honeymoon cottage where he and Martha had spent their first night at Monticello. He drinks from a bottle of wine. He has a stack of papers beside him and a basket containing a small fire. He reads each paper, kisses it, and places it in the basket. The plans for Monticello are still rolled up in the corner.
Mr. Jefferson,
Go away.
I've been looking everywhere for you. Jupiter finally suggested I try the honeymoon cottage.
Go away, Sally.
My mother wanted me to tell you that supper's ready in the dining room, if you feel like eating.
I don't. Go away.
Something burning?
Mrs. Jefferson's letters,
Why?
because they're private. I won't let anyone smear her from beyond the grave.
I'm sure no one would do that.
Of course someone would do that. That's politics.
You look so much like her, Sally. So much like her.
Sally takes one slow step away from him.
Supper's ready, the dining room, sir.
I'm not hungry. Go away.
Jefferson continues to drink the wine as he reads another letter and yet another. He tosses them into the basket and they burn. He rises and grabs the plans for Monticello and a quill pen. He rolls the plans out on the floor and begins furiously working on them.
Are you all right?
What do you care?
Sally just ran out here looking very... I just wanted to make sure everything was all right.
Everything's not all right. If I didn't have 3 kids, I'd shoot myself.
Please don't do that.
Oh, if it didn't affect your family, you'd love it. You don't like me.
My feelings for you are complicated, as I'm sure yours are for me.
I don't like complications.
Which I assume is why I work in the stables.
You work in the stables because you're good with horses. Go away so I could finish Monticello's redesign.
All of a sudden, you need to finish the unrushable masterpiece?
My marriage was the masterpiece. This, it's just a house. 10 years I made that woman live in an unfinished house. You and Suck don't have many children. Why is that?
We're being careful.
Did she say something to you?
Yes.
Why didn't she say anything to me?
Suck?
Mrs. Jefferson.
Maybe she was afraid to.
Why would she be afraid? I don't punish people for speaking their minds. It's my fault.
She didn't say anything.
But I knew. It's the worst thing that's my fault.
I'll tell Bob you need more wine.
It's going to be a beautiful house. Do you think he'll be all right?
Yes, but he won't be the same. He'll be along soon enough. Go hug your babies.